Testing. 1, 2, 3. Test, test. Testing, testing. Jehovah, thank you for this opportunity to do the absolute best that I can, to share the light, to share the knowledge, to share really what is the only hope for mankind. It's the only hope for mankind. You've let us prove that we can't share the earth. We cannot prosper. We've forgotten all about you. We have gone our own way. We have turned to our own way. And now you've let us see that. You've given us your word so that we can make the resurrection hope, so that we can realize that the earth is not all there is, that we're only here for a temporary season, so that we could learn to make the resurrection, learn to live with one another, learn to serve one another. And I thank you for this opportunity to share your latest revelation from the OAHSPE, Jehovah, and for my brother and sister who they are also trying to do their best to walk in the light and share it. And in a world that opposes them, a world that is opposed to what they think, believe, say, and do, Jehovah, I just pray for my brethren that we can redeem the time, we can make the resurrection while we're here on the earth. I ask for speaking abilities, and that I would say everything I would say would be clear, would be accurate, and will be glorifying. Jehovah, I pray and ask in your name. And for brethren who have needs, we're coming upon a time where the world is going to feel pressure from the conflagrations that are going on in the world today. And many people are going to be tempted to turn even more to money and things of this earth. And it should be a time for people to turn to you, but only the faithless will understand what's going on. So Jehovah, I just pray for their strength not to fail, and that you would help us and give us wisdom for the times ahead that are coming. In your name, I give thanks and praise. So let it be. All right, brethren, thank you for joining me. My name is Shaquab on Israel. Welcome to my channel. And just thank you for joining me. I got a lot again, man. I got a lot. I'm going to try to move fast. Let me see if I can move pretty fast. On the screen, it should be a picture of the website. There's a website that this channel is all about, Universal Faith is a Cosmin. You can go there for ministry and for resources and information and that sort of thing. Now, the Unknown Many have put out a 6-volume set as a supplement to the OAHSPE. It's a 6-volume set that the Unknown Many have put out, and it's a good supplement, man, just to help you to. It's compiled for like a 3rd grade, 4th grade level, man. It's just there to get you, to introduce you to the OAHSPE, the newest revelation from the Creator. So you can contact me if you want. You can, if you're a little short on funds, I'll help you. I'll get it to you for free. I'll give it to you for free. I just ask you to take advantage of a brother who's trying to share, spread the light. Just trying to share and spread the light, man. This is the only hope for mankind. It's the only hope for mankind. It's the OAHSPE. It's the latest revelation from the Creator. The time has come for us to grow up in the Spirit. That's all it is. That's all that it is, man. Our reality, life, and we see that people, we're only here for a season. That's why this is not a very popular channel. The things I talk about, I admit, man, they hard to, nobody wants to hear this stuff on a daily basis, But for faithists, we understand that we want to, we know in our soul that we are eternal spiritual people and that we go on forever. And we realize that if that's the case, then whoever it is that made us, the creator, is going to eventually give us the information. If he's going to create us, then it should make sense that he can give us something where we can read on our level that will help us to know what this is all about, you know. So here's the website. They have a little creed where um, here's the ministries and information that they have. You can stop the screen, check that out. And there's a creed that we have for people who don't understand what faithism is all about. And they did a pretty good job summarizing it here. It says, what is a faithist? We have faith in the all person, the collective wisdom that is without gender. As faithists, we live by and follow these guidelines inspired by the OAHSPE Bible, the work of John Newbrough. We understand that supremacy exists in only a weak and fearful mind. We strive to do good works in the Creator's name. We respect others' opinions with understanding and openness. As long as your opinions do not diminish the dignity or free will of anyone, we are willing to accept differences from others with no bias. We treat others and ourselves with love and forgiveness. We're kind to our actions and whole being. We give others freedom we all deserve. It's easy to demand free will, but it's challenging to allow others to exercise their free will. We're able to admit our mistakes, take responsibility for our actions. With these guidelines in mind, it is easier to understand that the foundation of faithism is the study and pursuit of Amaranth and Ahiva. Divine forgiveness and unconditional love for faithists. For faithists, the cultivation of Amaranth and Ahiva are essential lessons on the path to soul growth. Many faithists adhere to a vegetarian and vegan diet to reduce suffering, but being vegetarian does not give anyone supremacy. All right, so I'm going a little fast because I really got a lot, and I hope to really bless you, brethren, with what the Creator has given me to share. I want to start off by saying that I take my life. And if I try to believe that when the Creator, if you faithists, if you willing, you can use the experiences that the Creator give you, and you can learn from it, and then you can share with brethren. You can let them know, hey, I'm going through the same thing you're going through, or this, they going through the same thing we going through, or we making, this is not, you're not the only one, man. We all, and so that's one of the reasons why I have this channel. Sometimes I have doubts, because I don't like saying, it's easy to pick on people and say negative things. I have a real problem with that, man. I fellowship with people on Wednesday and Thursday, Bible talk and a meeting that we have on Thursday, and I'm telling you, man, they just sometimes I feel like a dirty rag being around them, in the sense that they are able to maintain positivity, keep a good outlook. And I mean, we do every now and then talk about some grievous things, some things, I guess, negative in the sense, I mean, in a not in a bad way though. I mean, because we got to learn. I forgot to mention the description area of my video where I got a link to a brother that has a Thursday study. You can join us. You can send him an email to brother every Thursday. He has a 40-minute meeting. We get together, we pray, we ask what we should pray for, and we voice it out. We say the prayer out loud. What we doing is we putting our energy in the air. We putting our vibration out into the universe. Now, it may sound kooky, but I'm telling you, man, I believe that we send off a vibration, a vortex into the world, and the angels can use it to, what's a good word for spread the light, to spread the light, man. I think that the Creator, I can't understand it, but I believe that the angels, they take our actions, and it's kind of like leaven, they just mix it and it spreads and it grows and you don't know how, just like the Bible says. So I realize that sometimes, you got to say things that are, I mean, it, you know, it's not easy sometimes. Now, I was looking at a video. I was looking at a video. I was looking at a video, like I said, when things happen in my reality and I get impressed to share it, I do. I like to talk about the life of a faithist while we in the world in hopes that we can learn. Now, I was looking at a video. I must admit, man, I have not quite seen a video like this before. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know, man, because AI is like, with AI, you don't know if some people, I see, it's hard to tell what's real and what's not. People like to get on there and they want clicks, they want attention. They make these videos, and with AI, they can make it so that they can make fake people. Y'all know that, right? They can make fake people. They can make them speak. See? You don't know what's real or what's not. And so I try my best. I try my best to weed out. I try my best, man, to weed out fake AI people who just want attention. I do my best, man. And then so I came across this video and I believed it, man. I believed it. I believed what they were saying, because at one point we all feel like what I'm getting ready to share. We all feel like that, man. I saw a video, and it was pretty rough, man. It was people talking about how they didn't want to go on no more. Don't want to go on no more, man. And you know what was killing me, man, is they was crying out. They was crying for a faithist. Not literally crying. They were screaming for a faithist, man. I could have just, if I had hair, I would pull it out, man. People screaming for a faithist, man. It's very frustrating, man, to see people, and then people who are under that vibration, they want answers, and you got them. You got the only hope for mankind, man. A faithist has the only hope for mankind. The only hope for mankind. The light, the OAHSPE, until he give us something else, man. The only hope for mankind. And it was on video. I minded to pull that video up. I minded to pull it up. I'm going through my mind right now trying to remember what that name of the video was. It was just a bunch of short clips, man, of people saying, hey, look, man, I got problems. Everything getting more expensive. I got a family. I don't know how I'm going to feed them. My rent going up. My property taxes going up. My gas, my electricity, and utilities is going. I talked to a lady today. She's my home care lady. Thank you, Jehovah, for sending me a super cool home care lady after all the problems I was having recently. Super cool, man. Comes in, sits right down in my house, makes herself at home, starts talking to me, and oh, thank you, Jehovah. Thank you. And she started saying, yeah, I got a house that's bigger than I need. My child is all grown now. And my property taxes are going up, and she was carrying her. She had a spirit on her like, man, I'm here working. you know. I'm just trying to survive, you know. That's the spirit coming off of her. And we just sit there and we just vibe real good with each other, man. Me and her, real good vibe, man. Almost like we was both smoking weed. just just relax with one another, get real, man, with one another. That's what I love. And that poor woman, man, she carrying herself like, man, I'm just trying to make it. And I made a covenant not to talk about the OAHSPE. I just don't do it, man, unless they got to start it. My spirit wasn't even screaming like, Yankwah. I said, no. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until the subject naturally come up, man. So I just held my peace, man. Tried to identify with her and let her know, I'm not working anymore, but I remember the struggle, I remember the struggle, man. I remember there were times when I was 2 weeks into the month and I did not have rent and no job. I was a Hebrew Israelite then. 2 weeks into the month, man, no rent and no job, That's a hell of a feeling, man, And I seen this video and it was nothing but 30 minutes, man, of people just saying, hey, something got to change because this ain't working, I can't find work. I can't get ahead, man. I got no motivation. I don't know what's going on here, Yeah, it was people talking like that on video, and I think they was for real. I think they was for real, man. They was letting it all hang out. It came across my feed by accident. Well, really, it wasn't by accident, I believe that the Creator, He give me things to share on my life. So it got to the point, I watched the video and I just kept shaking my head like, man, why, this ain't living. And one chick even said that. She said, I am not living. I'm not living when I have to beg to keep my money, to make money, to give, everybody, everywhere I turn, everybody got the handout, pay this bill, pay the rent, pay the gas, pay the utility. She said, and she got to crying and her child, and she wanted to give her the world, and everybody understands that. And I just sat there, I just shook my head. I said, man, I said, wow, we don't even know how to find the Creator. We don't even know how to find Him, man. We're so jaded, and I don't mean to sound harsh. We're so jaded, man. We're so thick into our own self-survival, man. We got no time for spirituality. We got no time for it, man. We got no time. And there's people, man, they can say they have stories to tell. They have stories to tell, man. So I just said, after I got finished watching the video, I said, well, Jehovah, why is life a continual grind, according to the OAHSPE? Why is it a grind, Why do so many people got problems like they got, Now, let me get to the study. I got a lot. I'm seeing I'm going to be late. I got a lot of good studies today, man. I'm just dialoguing right now. I got some good studies, man. I'm going to talk about the woman of Revelation 12 and how the Creator just nails our reality, man. He just nails it. So I got more on the woman of Revelation 12, the woman paying to be delivered, crying out loud. I got a summary of the beast. I got the 5 Anubi degrees. I got the relevant prophecies of the OAHSPE, another study that I found. And so you can see I'm not going to get to everything, right? Might have to add another day for my channel. So anyway, I sat there, I was thinking, man, why, I already got an idea that the creator said that the earth is a school for the spirit, and you don't get anywhere by making everything peaches and cream. If you make everything 100% for a human being, they'll never struggle. They'll never, you know, I, I, I was talking to I went to a little restaurant the other day, and the owner, he just felt like he wanted to strike up a conversation with me. So it was cool. He said, hey, man, here, meet my son, man. Son is like 6'4", 300 pounds. He's overfed. He's overfed, man. Now, you don't say that to a parent's child. You got to sound like, hey, man, you play ball and. So I was talking to her. I said, man, you're a pretty big young man. You play sports. And he said, no. And immediately in my mind, I was thinking, this parent here should, his attitude is like he's well taken care of, and now he's soft. He's soft, man. He's got a big gut. He's 15 years old. He wobbles when he walks. A teenager should not be in that condition, man. A teenager should not be in that condition, man. I said, what do you like about school? You got a favorite subject or anything, And he said, nope, right there in front of his dad, I said, well, brother, what do you like? He said, lunch. He really said that, Because a lot of parents, they raise their children like that, man. I ain't getting down on them, man. I understand it, But the creator, he put us on the earth, man, and there are things that happen in our life, man. There's situations. You know what I mean? Disturbances, harassments, annoying things that happen, things that bother you, different offenses, provocations on a daily basis, man. Aggravations and torture. And it's for a reason. And so I found this study here. I'm going to read it real quick. And brethren, when we keep these things in mind, you know what I'm saying? It helped make the load a little lighter. It helped make the load lighter, man. It helped make, when you hear another brother, they sharing about what's real, our reality. And then you can say to yourself, look, I'm not the only one, man. I'm not the only one that have to go through different vexations and upheavals. You ain't the only one, man. That's where the OAHSPE really helping us. The OAHSPE is real. The creator, he lays it down, man. Now, when you go to AI, you can't trust it all the time. You can't trust a lot of it. There's something they call AI slop. But when you're talking about the OAHSPE, we know what the OAHSPE say. So you can't just tell a faith is any old thing. Because the OAHSPE is our foundation. It helps us as a guidebook, man. Guides help keep cars from going over the cliff. Guidebook. So I did a study. I said, why is life a continual grind, according to the OAHSPE? And I had those people in mind. I had those people in mind that I saw in the video. And I really like what it came up with. It was pretty cool, And so here's a study right here. It said, according to OAHSPE, life on Earth often feels like a continual grind. toil, struggle, labor, and suffering, because it serves as a divine school or training ground for spiritual growth, ascension, and eventual joy in higher realms. Eventual joy in higher realms. This is not pointless drudgery, but purposeful through effort, service to others, and overcoming the beasts, which are selfish, animalistic impulses. Souls build strength, wisdom, endurance, and grades that allow resurrection to higher, lighter heavens. Labor perfects the soul. Jehovah commands humanity to dress the land and keep it pleasant. That's not an actual verse; it's a paraphrase, which is it's valid for the OAHSPE. It's valid. It's a valid phrase. In which thou shalt be perfected unto everlasting life. Toil builds noble endurance in both mortals and angels. Angels in the heavens toil relentlessly, sometimes wearily for centuries, rescuing lower grade spirits from darkness, mirroring earthly struggles. This work elevates the worker as much as the recipient. The beast, which is the self, the beast, the self, the soul that's me first, self-survival, self-preoccupied with the self. That's the beast. The self creates unnecessary grind. In eras before cosmos, the beast tempts humanity toward possession, war, carnivorism, and dissipation, and false gods and religion. This leads to a wasted life. 1/6 of the time, men are spending their time having war with armies. Another third to vice, hedonism, pleasuring the flesh, entertaining the flesh, distracting with the activities. The soul becomes clouded, loving sin, trapped in cycles of contention. Much earthly grind stems from serving this lower nature instead of Jehovah's harmony. Ain't that the truth? People, I'm positive, man, if they had a choice where they could work for other people in the sense that you work to help each other, that they would prefer that 100% to capitalism, where it's competition. You got to beat out the next guy, for the same nickel. The kingdom is people serving one another. I know that, it may sound corny and boring, but that's what it is. And if you've ever helped somebody and they appreciated it and the joy they showed, I'm telling you, man, it's better than a paycheck. When people really appreciate what you did, it makes you feel good, man. The creator is talking about a reality. You think they have capitalism in the spiritual? You know what I mean? You think they have people, a 9 to 5 in the spiritual? Earthly existence as a temporary proving ground. Earthly existence as a temporary proving ground. Mortals have corporeal bodies for learning physical things. Death transitions to spiritual senses and ethereal worlds. Life challenges quicken the soul toward direct communication with Jehovah. Life challenges. See, let me stop right there, man. The situation in the world, analysts, people in the know, corporation executives, CEOs have been warning the whole world about our situation, about the oil and gas shortages. I've been talking a lot about that, with the war over in the Middle East and the cutoff of the oil refineries and the production facilities. And over 90% of the world's products are byproducts of oil and gas. And so when you cut that off like it's been cut off, then you're going to have a situation where things are more expensive, have to pay more because the whole world is going to be competing for limited resources. That's the situation we're in. Life's challenges quicken the soul toward direct communion with Jehovah. And that there are people who are in this reality who are going to feel it and going to begin to leave the earth, in the sense that they're not going to chase it no more. They just ain't going to chase it no more, man. Why chase it? That's what that lady on the video was basically saying. She said, I just want to be set free, man. I'm tired of chasing this and chasing that and never acquiring. They never able to get it. And it seemed like the Creator is saying the only way to get people to that point, you have to take things away from them. Take it away from them, or they'll never learn. Never learn, man, until you, what does that song say? You don't know what you got till it's gone. Spiritually, you have to take away things that preoccupy people from considering, from ministering to their spiritual self. Life's challenges quicken the soul toward direct communion with Jehovah. In the cosmic era, meaning after 1848, old structures decline, but transition involves pain, like birth brought forth in pain and with much labor. That's that verse in Revelation 12. Changes is like birth brought forth in pain. What we going through now, the cosmic era, we in a situation where that's what that video was all about. It's like, before the kingdom comes, man, it's got to be a birth brought forth in much pain and much labor. For faithists, we carrying the light, we carrying a message, very unpopular, very unknown, nobody really cares about it. Yet you faithists, you're required to hold the light, man, spread it, live it, believe in it, share it, And it's one hell of a job we got, finding, implementing the kingdom on the earth. In the old cosmic era, post 1848, old structures decline. But transition involves pain, like birth brought forth in pain and much labor. Cycles of light, dark, vortexia, meaning times of light, influence civilizations with periods of struggle before higher harmony. That's where we are. We're in a time of increased light and times of also increased darkness. We're like the Creator. He describes our situation like we're here on the planet. We here following the sun, the serpent and the planets and I forget what you call it, the solar phalanx, We following the sun and the planets behind it on the circuit. We going through these ethereal worlds, these spiritual ethereal worlds, they affect our vibration. We go through a time of light, a time of darkness. People, that's what we're going through now, right now. Faithists are going to use that time. They're going to use that time to redeem the time, to be even more. The reality of the time is going to force faithists to really look to the Creator even more. Whereas the opposite effect is going to be for people who are not ready for the light right now. they're just going to grab even harder to the earth. They're going to cling even. You know how people, if you ever seen somebody struggling or they trying to hold on to something, and then it seems like they slipping and they grab on even harder. And that's the same way with people on the earth. They see that things are changing. People are talking about the time is changing and things are changing and the situation has never been like it is now. And they hold on even tighter. Go out and get another job. Already got 3 jobs. Now you got 4. Trying to hold on, hold on. Service and good works over ease. True satisfaction comes from ministering to others, especially like young orphans in communities like Shalem. Isolated labor or living off others is renounced. Freeloading is renounced. Preaching without substance is vampiric. Real growth demands hands-on toil in harmony. Idleness or selfishness prolongs darkness and the lower heavens. Ultimate purpose and hope. Ultimate purpose and hope. Jehovah designs life for enjoyment and dominion, not endless suffering. The grind eases as one aligns with faithist principles. Vegetarianism, nonviolence, one marriage or celibacy, communal, good works, and personal responsibility in higher heavens, coming in kingdom on earth becomes joyful thanksgiving. Souls progress through grades via service, eventually transcending toil for pure light and liberty. OAHSPE frames this optimistically in the Cosmic era. Old beast-dominated systems fade, replaced by science, interconnection, direct inspiration. Struggles today reflect the birth pangs of the spirit of this ship. Readers are encouraged to judge for themselves, labor righteously, find light within Jehovah's creations, rather than dogma. And that leads me to another point too. As I grow, as I learn about the Creator, he seems to be making it more obvious that we don't need to subscribe. We don't have to look at other people and try to be like them. We see brethren with gifts, they got uncommon understanding about subjects and knowledge, and the Creator says he doesn't want us to be copycat cookie cutter faithists. Like you try to model yourself after somebody else. Their gifts are their own. You have yours, they have theirs. Your inner light is not the same as the next person's inner light. How you do things, that's a real danger I see that people can fall into. You try to model, you think you got to be like somebody else, I don't understand the OAHSPE that way. The Creator, he sets you free to follow your own inner light, man. In that sense, nobody can judge you. That's one thing I'm really learning, man. The Creator you don't have to be a cookie cutter. We don't have to be cookie cutter like Christians, That's one thing I fear is Christian faithism, where you mimic a Christian, you fake happiness, fake joy, fake, and you got no knowledge. You don't know why you're joyful, it can be cool, but the Creator, he condemns ignorance. You just feel like you're going to walk around smiling. You got no knowledge, no understanding to build up your brother. But, I don't mean to sound harsh, man, but I just hate that type of that fake joy, that fake, I don't know what the word is for it, but anyway, that's that study. This study here is why is life a grind? And again, I saw a video of the people. They were pretty brokenhearted, man. People who were left behind. Now, let's go and let me do the. I got a whole bunch of studies that are really, I think they're fantastic. So let me start one by one. Let me bring it up on the screen. and I'll decide which one I want to start with. Let's see. Let's see. Which one? Okay, let's start with this one. This is relevant OAHSPE prophecies and predictions. This is called relevant OAHSPE prophecies and predictions. Now, the reason why I'm even sharing this is because I like reminding us that the OAHSPE is anointed, and the knowledge that comes from it, it comes from the Creator, man. You know, the Creator is constantly showing us that the information that He's given us, it don't come. The only way you can explain it is it comes from a spiritual source. So this is a short study. It's not comprehensive, meaning there's much more than this study here. But this is just a little short study about what separates the OAHSPE from the rest of the world. The OAHSPE, the way the Creator, He separates Himself from the rest of the world. Let me take a sip of water. Okay. The OAHSPE, it has to be that way. We got 1,000 religions in the world. There's 1,000 million religions in the world, man. You know, 1,000 million binding people's minds. People can't break out of it. They don't know how. They're bound to dogma, creeds, and we always seem to have to learn when it's just too late. You know, we go into the spirit, we see that we could have made the resurrection. Now we got to wait. This study is called Relevant OAHSPE. Let me make sure I'm sharing it on the screen. Let's make sure it's on the screen. Okay, yeah, I am sharing it. Good enough. All right, this is called Relevant OAHSPE Prophecies and Predictions. It says in OAHSPE, in the cosmic era where we are right now, it marks a major cosmic and spiritual shift beginning around 1848. The 33rd year, which saw the text publication. It is the dawn of a new 3,000-year cycle, part of a larger time of light. Dan has a time of light and longer periods, where Earth enters a region of higher light in the solar vortex phalanx. So here we are spinning around. You know, we got the sun at the head. It's leading us through these ethereal worlds, which are worlds that we cannot see, and they affect the vibration of the Earth. But we can get a good idea of whether we're in like a forest or whether we're in the beach, whether at the beach, you know, chilling on the beach, or whether we're in a forest and, you know, where it's and it's nighttime. Right now it's just the way the OAHSPE seems to describe it. You go through during the Danha period, like 3,000 years, you know, and you're going along and you go through a time of, you know, like a day. You could even say like a day. Some days it rains, some days it's sunny. It's like you could equate that to like our reality, how we're like traveling, you know, we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, you know, we know what yesterday brought. And when we go through these ethereal worlds, these vibrations, it manifests on the earth. Right now, we got a time of trouble. Religion is still strong. People are still tied to deities, false gods, got no time for spiritual things. We know that AG is thick in the earth right now. It has a polarizing effect. It has an opposing effect. Faithists, they increase. It's like the more denser the region, the more light the faithists share, spread, believe in, walk in, the darker the time, the brighter the faith is, you know. But the world, it's like when you make somebody mad, they just get madder and madder, and they keep focusing on the things that are going wrong, and they just work themselves up, and they just busy decreasing their grade, decreasing and decrease, just going down, down, down. The vicissitudes of life is just having that effect on them. The vortex is just pulling them down, pulling them down, pulling them down. And it's a separation. They get brighter and brighter, and they see the reality for what it is, and they take advantage of it. Instead of letting it make them negative, and they realize that it's an opportunity for them to make their what's a good word for redeem the time spiritually. This era emphasizes liberty, Cosmic era. Cosmic era. This era emphasizes liberty, direct personal communication with Jehovah, the Creator, scientific spiritual understanding, global unity, and the decline of old religious structures in favor of practical good works. Okay, so we in the Cosmic era. We at the beginning of a 3,000-year period where the Creator, the kingdom, is now incrementally going to be brought on the earth. We might not see it. It might not appear the way we thought it would, but isn't everything like that where it takes time? It doesn't happen right away. But somebody has to get it started. And faithists of this day and age just so happen to be those people that are getting it, that get the kingdom, that really begin their resurrection right now, really. Okay, now these are key prophecies and predictions from sections like the book of ES, book of ES meaning Spirit, Daughter of Jehovah, and book of Cosmogony and Prophecy. Include global interconnection and openness. It says nations and peoples. Now, these are relevant OAHSPE prophecies and predictions, okay? Meaning the Creator foretold these things, that it was going to happen on the earth. And this is one of the ways where we can gain strength. We can gain strength from the OAHSPE. We can gain a good foundation in the sense that we know the Creator, he told men these things before they even knew. Talked about the way things are going to be. A prophecy gains strength when it's not yet manifested. But then there are things that come to pass. That's the kind of evidence that the earth needs. It says, key prophecies and predictions from sections like the book of ES, Daughter of Jehovah, and book of Cosmogony and Prophecy include global and interconnection and openness. One of the prophecies of the OAHSPE saying that this was going to happen. We were going to experience global interconnection and openness. One of the prophecies and predictions of the OAHSPE. Nations and peoples will travel freely across the earth in ships, ports, lands, waters open to all. Exclusive national continental claims will fade. People will welcome one another as brothers under Jehovah. Signs of favor. Signs of favor. Now, 100%, this has not come to pass. A lot of this has not come to pass. The seeds have been laid down, such as global trade, global travel. We can see that part came true. It wasn't always that way, but we take it for granted because it's been that way for a long time. Signs of favor. Open societies prosper in peace and learning. Closed executive ones face darkness, like secret societies. You got societies in the world that are secret. It's for the uber rich, the blue bloods. Exclusive exclusive groups that serve their own interests. Closed exclusive groups face darkness. The Creator is a good example of that, I think, is what's going on in the world today with the Gulf Coast countries. Those are monarchies. Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates. Those are monarchies set up by the British. The British, during time of British colonialism, they sent the guy down in that area. He drew out the boundaries, and you have the Gulf Coast countries, Monarchies, though, meaning families, monarchies, a family, power passed down within the family. Saudi Arabia, the House of Saud, and the Creator said those types of governments are going to be put down in the cosmic era. He's going to put an end to them. And is it any coincidence that the thing that props up Gulf Coast countries mainly is oil and gas? They've been enjoying luxury for thousands, for however long, and now the Creator, or I should say, it's time for them to, their rulership is coming to an end. If you read the OAHSPE, the Creator says that it's one of the last forms of government that will be on the earth before the kingdom, and that's monarchies. Monarchies. The Gulf Coast countries are monarchies, meaning power is in the hands of a rich family. And you know what happens when that's the case? Some people are going to get oppressed. You know what I mean? When you put that much power in somebody's hands, just like the president, Donald Trump, his family is getting filthy rich off of him helping enriching his own family, while SNAP benefits are getting cut. Entitlement programs. You probably might not feel this a whole lot, but you might know somebody. That's what happens when you put people in power who are only going to serve the rich and serve their own interests, man. The poor has always been that way, man. They are going to be, their interests are not going to get served. They're going to lose out to the moneyed interests. They know, they caught on to the fact that all you got to do is sweet talk people. That's all you got to do to get them to vote for you, to rule over them. They'll let you rule over them. You don't have to have no type of integrity or a track record. People know that. They know that if you sound good, it's easy to fool somebody. And then when you get into office, you just serve your own interests. People are too busy working anyway to keep up with what you're doing. Nobody really cares that much. They just hoping that they're going to get paid next week, have a job next week. Nobody has time. See, we in the system, we have to trust people, And people, they will serve their own interests. And the Creator knows that. And thank God that time is coming to an end. It may seem slow, but he's putting an end to that. That's got to come to an end, man. Do you think the Creator wants some people to jump and shout for joy and most people to be sitting there starving and barely trying to live on the earth? And so thank God that we in the cosmic era now, because if you're paying attention, it may seem slow, and that's the way change happens. The cosmic era is different because the kingdom is going to be about people. It's going to be about people, the Creator, his kingdom. It's about people getting a kick out of one another, serving one another, doing for one another. The Creator says even the rich and the well-off are going to break with their kingdom and join the kingdom of the Creator, man. The OAHSPE says that. They're going to break. They're going to see the futility of their way of life. Always blessing yourself, everything you want at your feet. At some point, man, you get tired of that. The flesh ain't never satisfied. It ain't never satisfied, man. I look at the news, man, people constantly chasing the flesh. Constantly chasing the flesh, man. Taking this vacation, going deep sea diving, nearly getting their heads ate off by a shark, And you call that, and even people who are well off like that, they get tired of it at some point, You haven't learned the secret, man. Unless you learn to be minded to serve somebody else, do something for somebody. Not to say these people don't do nothing, but the Creator is different. He talking about a kingdom where, can you imagine, man, here we are, we on the kingdom of the Creator. The faithism kingdom is here, You get up, you go to work, Your job is to, you have a gift to run a farm, You have a gift to administer, In the book of Shalem in OAHSPE, it talks about, it was a bunch of people that had different talents. That's not the point that I wanted to make. The Creator is saying that labor will be a joy. That's the whole point that I wanted to get to. If you can imagine that, labor, a joy, man. Even, if you can remember doing something for somebody and they really appreciated it, man, that's the kingdom. The Creator said labor is going to be a joy. Now that's when a man want to get up and go to work. That somebody going to your job. Chances are they always criticizing. They can't none of them ever. That's one thing about the human spirit. It's like people tend to criticize more than to build up or encourage. That's the type of reality we live in. There's a critical spirit, man. People don't like to give credit to other people, don't like to say anything positive to people. And I'm sure it happens. You know what I mean? But the kingdom, the Creator is that will be on the earth is where people appreciate one another. We because we serve one another. We serve one another. Different jobs that directly apply to helping somebody. I don't know how it come to pass, but I believe it. Signs of favor. Open societies prosper in peace and learning. Closed exclusive ones face darkness. Here in the cosmic era, secret societies are coming to an end. The Creator's going to put an end to all that. The Skull and Bones, the Bohemian Club, the Masons, all these well-off clubs where it's rich exclusive, that's got to come to an end. The relevance of the prophecies and predictions and prophecies for today. Relevance today. Massive globalization. international travel, trade, immigration, and the internet have interconnected the world far beyond 19th century imagination. Post World War II institutions open borders in many regions. So these are things that have already happened. It's not in its full form yet, though, because they're imperfect. People, they serve their own interests. They take international travel, trade, immigration, internet, and it's implemented the way the creator has meant for it to be. Immigrants that come to this country and other countries and they're not really welcome, they get taken advantage of. Internet, it has a lot of faults. It's imperfect. Post-World War II, institutions open borders. Okay, that's good in many regions, and digital communication echo the circumscribing, the spreading of the earth with wisdom and learning. Okay, that's good, but it's in its imperfect form. That's why it's in the embryo. All these forms of society are in its embryo because it's in its imperfect form. It's in its immature form. It's in a form where people who are prospering, they serve their own interests. A lot of technological increases and advancements, but the problem is when people get a hold, when the creator gives wisdom and knowledge, man. People, they take it, and it's like, if you ever seen Animal Kingdom, where that leopard, after he make a kill, he go, what do he do? First thing, he go carry it right up into a tree. Nobody else can get to it. That's like the beast kingdom inclination vibration. That's the natural vibration. You get a hold of something, you go run and, and keep it to yourself, Post-World War II, institutions open borders in many regions and digital communication echo the circumscribing of the earth with wisdom and learning. The Western Hemisphere's full east to west inhabitation, noted as a marker, aligns with U.S. expansion and modern demographics. So the OAHSPE, this is how we know, the creator, he said that these things was going to come to pass. Massive globalization, signs of favor, global interconnection and openness. These are all relevant OAHSPE prophecies and predictions. We take it for granted because it's been our way of life forever. Another prediction and prophecy of the Cosmic Era. Another prediction and prophecy of the Cosmic Era. Decline of traditional religion. Decline of traditional religion. Oh, decline. This is a big one right here, man. This is pretty much what it's all about, what's going on now in our reality, what faithists know about. Decline of traditional religion. Decline of traditional religion and rise of personal liberty. Direct revelation. That's why I was saying earlier, I think one thing I'm learning is, as a faithist, you don't have to try to let anybody dictate to you how you should be. If you're able to receive the light, you already want to do what's right. Nobody has the right to come down on you and, question your motives and everything when you're trying your best. The best that we can do for one another is just to try to help one another. My videos here, I talk about a lot of things, and I like to do it from the standpoint of how the creator is warning us. He uses people for an example of what is profitable, what is not profitable. I'm never going to get to the woman of Revelation 12 at this pace, man, if I don't pick it up. How much more I got to go? Shoot, man, this is a long. Oh, wait a minute, stop it right there. Okay, let me try to pick it up. I really want to get to the woman of Revelation 12. All right. Um, Another prediction and prophecy of the cosmic era: no new saviors, commanding gods, lords, or rigid commandments. Old doctrines, idols, priests, and intermediaries lose hold. Individuals pray and interpret directly to Jehovah via their own soul in the book of my creations, nature and science. Wait a minute, where did that come from? Okay, now I don't know. That's not part of the OAHSPE right there. Let's see. What does it say again? Individuals pray and interpret directly to Jehovah via their own soul. Oh, okay. I see what they're saying. Okay, yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Book of my creations, which is nature and science. Yeah, okay. I get it. I get it. Emphasis shifts to good works, self-salvation through righteous action, and liberty. Man shall judge what he will do. See, we're our own judges now. We're our own judges now, man. Preaching wanes, practice and harmony prevail. See, that's the cosmic error, man. You know, the Creator said, "Look, I brought you up. I showed you. I showed you your creation. I showed you how I brought you through different periods of time. You didn't know this. I taught you this. You didn't know that. I taught you that. You know, it took me all these years, 75,000 or what, 24,000 or 48,000 years of our history. Now you're here, you're in the cosmic era. You can find me directly now. You don't have to go to church. You don't have to go to a doctor, religion, or anything like that now. You just come to me directly. So now here we are. We sitting here. We learning. We trying to learn how to go to Jehovah directly and trust what we're being. Now you got Druidian influences. We got Druidian influences, man, that still try to influence us. The Creator, what did he say? I read where he said they talk to you more than. What did it say? It said something like they talk to you. I don't want to say even more than our own angels, but the understanding that I got. I read something that said that basically they are always on our case, man. Druidian influences. Want us to do this, want us to do that. No, don't read the OAHSPE. No, don't share that. No, come on. Druidian influences, man. Always on our behind. This is an indicator of the cosmic era. Preaching wanes, practice and harmony prevail. People are going to get tired of preachers standing up there talking. Prospering off of commercializing the gospel. People are going to get people. Matter of fact, I heard, you know what? I remember reading an article. It said something about mega churches are dissolving or people stop coming or not coming as much as they used to. Have y'all ever read something like that? Mega churches are not what they used to be. I read an article. It's 100 degrees in Arizona today. Oh man, it feels good to me though. Yeah. Churches, mega churches, people not coming as much as they used to. They seeing through the veil. They see that a bunch of preaching and no results. People going, listening, attending, giving tithes, and all they get is a bunch of promises, a bunch of I want to say where you just constantly are talking about things that never really come to pass. You're always promising this, and God's going to do this, and you were meant to be rich. And I think that people are seeing through that. That's the vibration. That's the spirit that's coming on the earth, the cosmic era, where people will wake up to that. They will see the impotency of religion. They will see it has no power. It's got no power, man. At some point, people are going to wake up and say, if we really believe in God and all this and that, and how is it that we are constantly fighting? We're constantly grab from one another, stealing and defrauding. And why is that? We've been reading this Bible. We've been going to these churches all these years, man. How come there ain't no effect? How come we getting worse than we seem to be getting worse? Where's the morality, man? Where's the power? Relevance of the OAHSPE's prophecies and predictions today. Widespread civilization in the West. Decline in institutional religion. Rise of spiritual. Yep, that's the truth right there. Boy, I didn't even see this was part of the study. That is the truth right there. You talk to people, they say, I'm spiritual but not religious. That's exactly what it's saying here. A result of the OAHSPE's predictions and prophecies that this would happen among people. Widespread secularization in the West, decline in institutional religion, rise of the spiritual but not religious. I'm amazed every time I hear somebody say, I'm spiritual but not religious. I'm spiritual, not religious. New Age movement. See, all this really started with the 1800s. Creator said it was going to get, remember the Fox sisters? He kicked it off with them, 1848. Google the Fox sisters. The OAHSPE talk about them. Creator said he was going to use them to kick it off, meaning to get people wondering about the spiritual in a way they've never done it before. To get people thinking, wondering about when they leave the earth. He said he was going to do it. The 1800s. You can go on your computer right now and type in, when did spirit... I'm tempted to do that right now. I think I'm going to finish the study. Let me see. Am I near the end? Okay, let me just be brief because I haven't even gotten to the woman of Revelation 12. You can read this if you want. I'm late. I'm way late, man. I got the Anubi degrees. I'm not going to get to that. Got the woman of Revelation 12. I don't even... I'm a mess, man. New discoveries, inventions, books of learning. People become conceited in their knowledge and deny Jehovah initially. Another fruit of the OAHSPE prediction and prophecies. There will be new discoveries, just like in the time of, I think it was Thor or Osiris. He taught them the planets. He taught them the movements of the planets, measuring, and the people got conceited, man. They said, well, shoot, since I'm this smart, then I know everything. I don't need Joe. He never taught me nothing. Same way today. New discoveries, inventions, books of learning. People become conceited in their knowledge and deny Jehovah initially. Angels, heavenly hosts cause signs and wonders. Chairs speak, inanimate things move, the dead reappear and communicate, proving heavenly kingdom. Babes and fools confound the wise. Now, I don't know if that's prophecy, meaning in the future, or if that's already happened. It says something like a girl will lift 8 men. The OAHSPE says that. I know I saw on the internet where there was this real strong girl lifted her dad. She was only like, what? 12, 9, 8, 9, 10, or 12, Y'all can see it on the internet. Some real strong little girl, but not 8 or 9 men. The Creator said it was a child was going to be able to do that. So it must be in the future, prophetical. Chairs speaking, inanimate things moving. I could see how you need this type of witness, man, to get people, to get their attention, man. to get people's attention, these things got to happen. You know, a chair speaking, a chair. If I tell you, if the Creator, if he let me stand up and say, and make my chair, I got a power chair, and make it speak, do you know that in overnight, man, this channel would be, it would blow up the internet, you know, or any other faithless brothers, whoever is going to be chosen, man, to implement, to introduce, it could happen to us all at once. You know, I don't know, you know, where we get some type, well, I don't know. I was going to say we get some type of anointing on us and we're able to do these things, you know, make chairs speak, inanimate things move, because you ain't going to get people's attention, man. People got to see stuff like this. Relevance today, meaning miracles. Relevance today, explosive 19th, 21st century progress. Okay, they're talking, these are not really, well, it's creation, it's not really miracles. So, I mean, to people, it can seem that way. Things that the OAHSPE said was going to come to pass that did. Explosive 19th, 21st century progress. Electricity, computers, internet, medicine, space travel, AI. Matches the quickening that was going to come on men. The quickening. They mentioned it here. Spiritualism post the 1848 Fox history. See, so you can read it. You can go online and learn about them. They had seances, spiritualism. Now, I'm not saying the Creator endorses that. I don't see it in the OAHSPE. But he used that to spread spiritualism. He used that to spread spiritualism. That's what I'm trying to share. You know, the Creator, he lets us use lies in order to understand the truth. Or should I say lies? Or what is it in the OAHSPE where he told that person to write 10 and they wrote, I think how did they do it? They wrote the word 10 and the angel said, nope, that's not 10. And then the angel drew 10 lines and said, do you see now how you use imperfect things to talk about things that are perfect or to talk about the light? We're in a situation where we have to use things that are, we because of the weakness of our flesh, you know, the Creator, he let us use things that are, you know what I mean? It's to help our understanding. Explosive 19th, 21st century progress, electricity, computers, internet, medicine, space travel. And then, you know, medicine, that makes me think of something that guy. See, this is what men do, man. It just makes you sad, you know. Even in the Apocrypha, it says that the medicine is in the earth, man. And I believe that, you know, in the dirt, you know, in plants, you know, man, there's medicine there, you know, and he got taken away. I read the story of Henry IV. He got his hands on medicine. And I don't want to sound down or downing him. He got his hands on medicine, you know. He found a way to make it a byproduct of oil and gas. And he established schools that would teach medicine. He established schools that would teach medicine. What do they call it? Psycho, what is that long word for medicine, man-made medicine, some long word. I can't remember what it is. He found out a way to make plants and things of the earth a byproduct of oil and gas, and he could sell it for a profit. And the American, naturalism, you know, that, you know, he started fighting against that. That's why you don't hear too much of that. You know, it's still even now trying to catch up today in our world. Naturalism, herbs, you know, the earth, you know. People trying to get back to that, you know, but American Medical Association don't want them to. because it's profit in selling pills and, you know, and, you know what I mean? Pharmacy and, you know, because it's a profit in it. And Henry Ford, he learned his. I remember reading where he learned how he learned how to he learned how to take the herbs and medicine of the earth and make it a byproduct of oil and gas. And now you have what you have now. You have medical universities teaching. He funded them, and they teach. There's a word, this man-made medicine, man, you know. The creator, the blessing comes, we take it, and we don't share it because there ain't no profit in it. You know, I remember I came across a brother in Africa who found a way to, and I come to find out he's not even the only one. The brother found a way to pull energy from the air. Why do you get all amazed when you see the internet? That's energy from the air, brother. The brother, he found a way. He caught on to it, right? And he went into hiding. Chikumbutso, what's his name? Maxwell Chikumbutso. He disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to him. You know, Maxwell Chikumbutso, man. The air energy car or something like that. And he ain't the only one. He is not the only. See, you see where we live, brethren. Do you, brethren, see where we live? You know what I mean? Do you see this earth here? You take something good, and if you can't make a profit off of it, then it ain't going to be promoted, man. You know? You see? Why did we do that? Why? See? The creator said it was going to be explosive 21st century progress. That's exactly what happened. Electricity, computer. Look on the internet for yourself. You know? Look at this. Electricity, computers, internet, medicine, space travel, AI. It matches the quickening, enlightenment, spiritualism, post the 1848 Fox sisters, seances, and later phenomena, meaning mediumship, near-death experiences, UFO, UAP reports, energy healing. You know these things is happening in the earth, man. You know, somebody's got the knowledge, but do you think that corporations is going to allow that to get out? That brother, he came up with an energy model that ran off of the air, man. He pulled energy out of the air. And now, all of a sudden, you don't hear. He might have been paid off to sell his patent. Who knows? He held firm for a while, though. You know, met with the prime minister of, I forget the country where he's from. I forget. You know, introduced his product, you know, and there are other men who have come up with stuff like this, and corporations, they zero in on him. They buy his patent, you know, offering billions of dollars, you know, because you could sink a whole industry, you know. When you get close to somebody's wallet, you know, people get serious then. Once you get close to that wallet, you know. Near-death experiences, UFO, UAP reports, energy healing are often cited by readers as angelic manifestations or spirit communication. Modern skepticism and scientism denying the divine while advancing knowledge fit the conceited phase with ongoing spiritual revivals as counterbalance. So it says modern skepticism and scientism fit the conceited phase with ongoing spiritual revivals as counterbalance. This is terrible shame, man. Terrible shame, man. Another relevance of the OAHSPE cycles and predictions and prophecies, 100-year cycles of progressive social evolution. The OAHSPE gives you detailed sweeps of inspiration, miracles, science, inventors, globalism, paternalism, Jehovah's Kingdom. Themes built toward brotherhood, stewardship, and higher spiritual grace. So it's like the groundwork has been laid, but the perfection has not been realized yet. We've got the groundwork. We've got the template of brotherhood, unity, all these things that we mentioned here. That's the OAHSPE planting the seeds of the cosmic era kingdom of the Creator. Scientific, technological, miraculous awakenings. That's what the OAHSPE is. It's maturity of physical and spirit. Decline of traditional religion and rise of personal liberty and direct revelation. All these things are the Creator, the prophecies and predictions that are now come to pass, but are not in its final perfect form. Global connection and openness. We see all these things. Massive globalization. All right, stopping right there. Want to get to the woman of Revelation 12. So that's the study for relevant OAHSPE prophecies and predictions. And so in conclusion, the reason for this study here is this is a good reminder, man, that the Creator, the OAHSPE, the Creator, he separates himself. You got to have that in the world. If we came with a message of love everybody, love your brother's keeper, and which we do, and do unto others as you would have others do unto you. And that was the base of our message. We wouldn't get nowhere. It wouldn't have no strength in it. We couldn't endure, we couldn't walk by faith, keep walking by faith. We need things, solid evidence, man. People need solid, so that we know without a shadow of a doubt, man, not to go back to the earth. Do not go back to the earth, man. Even when you're tired and you don't know which way to turn, you don't know what to do, all you got to do is meditate on the things that the Creator, he tells you in the OAHSPE, the proof of the truth of it, and that we got nowhere to go. We got nowhere to go, man. He done trapped us. I love it like that. Even if I wanted to go back to a church, man, I could. I'm ruined. I can't. I'm ruined for Christianity. I'm ruined for anything. I can't. Hey, brother, come to church with me. All right, man. I'm feeling kind of low spiritually. Where do you go? I go to church on the corner. All right, man. Let me give it a try. And then when you open up the Bible and I start questioning, well, look, man, okay, if that's true, how come he talk about two types of gods in the first chapter? I start asking questions. They will get rid of you in 2 seconds, man. Do you know if you went to a church, they would pick up? I mean, I know what faithists would do. They would go and they just wouldn't say nothing. And they wouldn't even correct anybody. Not Yaiquab, not me. Maybe 10 or 11 years down the line, I'll be the type of brother. I never say anything to anybody, even when they bring up the subject. I'm an old soul. I don't never. I remember Yaiquab, man. He used to go out, pass out cards, do videos, and he don't do none of those things anymore. He just keep to himself. I know a lot of faithists. They ain't like, I'm just a young pup right now, running around wild, hey, look at this, 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 And then, you get older and you just settle into your stride. You are a faithist. For what I see, there are 2 kinds. Those that will speak up and, hey, wait a minute, what you saying? Why you? I know who compiled that Bible. They will throw you out. And then their faithists, they'll go and they just won't say nothing. They, I love it, man. I love it. We all got our inner light. The Creator said, just go with your inner light. You might make mistakes, you know, but just hold on, just nurture that inner light, nurture it. You don't have to be like anybody else. You are the only person I created. You're the only one. You just concentrate on what I give you. Now let's go to the study. I'm way behind, man. I got so many studies, man. I've got to find a way. I've got to find a way, man, get all these studies in. I'm so far behind, man. Let me bring up the other study. Let's see. How do we do this? Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's bring up the next study. Okay, what's the next study? Let's do, how about the Anubi degrees? How about the Anubi degrees? That's it. And oh, no, wait a minute. Revelation 12. Doggone it, man. Shoot. Oh, man. I wanted to do the Revelation 12. Oh, man. I wanted to do the woman of Revelation 12 because that's us. I've got to do the woman of Revelation 12, man. I just got to do it. I want to bless us. That's us, man. The woman of Revelation 12, that's us. So let me find it. I have to do that study, man. It's just the way the Creator has put us in the Bible, man. And now, let's see. I can't even find it now. The woman of Revelation 12. That's us all over. I want to cover the part where it says she was pained to be delivered. Because that's the situation the Creator is telling us, the situation we're in. That is us. Now, see, all of a sudden, I can't even find that study. It just disappeared. Let's see. Let's right there. I got it. Thank you, Jehovah. All right. So let's see. How do you bring it up on the screen? Let's bring it up on the screen. Now, the woman of Revelation 12, man, that's us. That is us. Now, which one is it? Which one is it? Is it this one? Is it this one? Is this the right one? Okay, yeah, it is. I think it is. The woman of Revelation 12, man, those are faithless, and the Creator hid it. He hid it. All right, now I hope you brother can see that on the screen very well. Now, in Revelation chapter 12, it says this. All right, it says, and she being with child cried, travailing birth, pain to be delivered. Now, if I asked y'all, if I was in the chat, I'm not in the chat right now. What do you think this means? See, you'll probably get it. You'll probably get it. You can guess. You can guess and pretty much get this right. All I'm going to do is just kind of go into detail. You brother can guess this and get it and pretty much get it right. Revelation 12, let's this time for it to come out. Remember the Jesus of the New Testament, he said, I have many things to tell you, but you cannot receive them right now. A lot of things he said, man, it's really meant for us. You know, Joshua, he was an Essene. You know, the story of the Essenes is an amazing thing. It's an amazing. Do you know Moses raised up the Pharaoh that at the time of Egypt that fell off, the Pharaoh? Do y'all know that that Pharaoh, Moses had to restore him, and he started the Essenes? Y'all know that, right? Here in Revelation chapter 12, okay, it says, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven. We can't go into the full. I'm gonna keep doing this from time to time. I've already done it, the breakdown of it. I'm just going into a little bit of it today. And now this is John on Patmos. He sees a vision. He says, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun. See, all of this symbolism, you brethren, you know what it means. You know, all you brethren, you know what this means. You can what's a good word for? I don't want to say guess, but if you have some understanding of the OAHSPE, you know, then you know what this means, the symbolism. The Creator, he leaves religion in the dark. He leaves them to speculate. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Now, I forget. The sun is the light. It's the light of the OAHSPE, and the moon means faith that's overcome the carnal, the physical self, the vibration of the earth, the influences of the earth. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. That's the Etherian gods and lords. And then it says, and she being with child cried. Now, this part I want to focus on real quick. And she being with child cried. So here we are. We in this reality. The light has come. The sun, we are clothed with the sun. We got the moon under our feet. We have the rulership of the Etherians. And she being with child cried, trailing birth pain to be delivered. That goes back to what I was saying earlier. I'm speaking a little too fast. So I just want to get it all in. It goes back a little bit earlier to that video I was telling you about. There are people on the earth, man, who are really struggling. They've been around the block. They've grown up. They've seen the way things are in this reality. They're on the short end of the stick. They're tired of it. Their soul is tired. There was one woman in that car. She said, I just want my soul to be free. She said, I just want my soul to be free, man. You know, she had no knowledge of the Creator. And it's the same way really with us. And it really points to the travails that we go through while we're on the earth. You know, we have to fight our minds. We got to fight ourselves, the inclinations that come on us, the times when the world, it upsets you, make you mad, or things don't go your way, when we have to turn the other cheek. These are travails and vexations we got to go through. It's part of the quickening. It's part of the growth of our soul. It's part of our soul growth. Our soul growth. These frictions, friction creates a diamond, And she being with child cried. Some faithists are crying, man. They travailing in birth. Remember that? We on the earth, we in the end, we're not even born yet. We travailing in birth, man. And we're paying to be delivered. We want the kingdom to come now, man. We don't want to be up under Uzi and destruction no more. See, the OAHSPE is hope, man. This is our only hope. It's our only hope, man. He understands. He, the faith that's being with child, father, mother, the Creator's father, mother, and she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns. and 7 crowns upon his head. And his tail drew drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth and dragged still before the woman which is ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. So he got a third part of the earth. Now that ain't enough. He wants to faith this too. He wants to faith this too. He already got the world, the people of the world, anti-Jehovahans, people who are not under the light, ignorant of the light. He got them. See, his tail drew a third part of the stars. So it's like the tail is what's behind you. So he came, his doctrines, his gods and lords, they came after him, his creation. He drew a third part. They followed him. They followed his tail. His after effects. I don't know a very good way to describe this. It's like a guy comes along, he gives you a doctrine, and then after that, everybody follows it who subscribes to it. Religion, and religion drew a third part of the stars of heaven. The faith is who will be eventually delivered. But for now, his tail drew a third part on the earth. The Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, Christians, Catholics, his tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, the faithless, who was ready to be delivered, or to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, faithless, who were to rule all. And it's really faithism is going to rule the earth. Faithism, the way of the Creator. It couches is here in language we can understand. And she, the Creator, brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. That's faithist. We get a hold of the light, and that's it, brother. That is it, man. We get caught up in our soul, our minds. And the woman fled into the wilderness. Here we are on the earth, where she has a place prepared of God. That's her. That's her soul. That the Ethereans, should feed her there 1,203 days, cosmic era. And really, you can't really put a starting time on this. This goes back to creation, really. This chapter here. And there was war in heaven, and great dragon cast out a flood after his mouth. That's all the doctrines and ideologies, and So anyway, I got ahead of myself. I wanted to talk about she being with child, travailing in birth. Now let's go back to the study and get a little more detail on this. The woman of Revelation 12. Let me make sure I'm sharing this. Am I sharing it? Yeah, I think I am. Good enough. All right. I hope you can see this. Let's see if I can make it bigger. Make the screen bigger. All right. I think we get somewhere now. Now I lost the study. All right. Here we go. All right. Sharing. Revelation 12. She being a child cried travail. All right. Again, that's a beautiful thing of the OAHSPE, man. That's a beautiful thing. See, use the Bible to fill in some of the blanks, and you can use the OAHSPE to fill in the blanks of the Bible. That's the beauty of our reality. The Creator, He let us, we waited until this time where He opens up the Bible and shows you what the Revelation calls the hidden manna. Yes, this verse from Revelation 12:2, it beautifully parallels OAHSPE's description of the transition into the cosmic era. See, it's describing the transition into the cosmic era. in OAHSPE, specifically the book of Spirit. Yes, chapter 8. An Ethereal god named Leda Baka Thrava explains the arrival of Cosmin to Earth's God. I have seen many corporeal worlds arrive at the cosmic era, but it is like a new birth. See, that's what we going through now. We going through the upheavals in the earth right now. That's why I talk about the oil and gas situation due to the war in the Middle East and the interruption of the trade of oil and gas, the Strait of Hormuz. Tribulation. I have seen many corporal world. Leda Baka Thrava, an Ethereal angel, is speaking to someone. He says, I have seen many corporeal worlds arrive at the cosmic era. Many worlds go through the cosmic era. But it is like a new birth. It's brought forth in pain and with much labor. Thou hast yet several generations of mortals to be born before Cosmin come. So Cosmin is now here. Now he could mean in its full effect. Technically, it's here. He says the birth is like much labor and pain. The continual grind of earthly life, wars, struggles, darkness, false gods, personal toil, and global upheavals is framed as the labor pains of birthing a new spiritual age. See, that's exactly what we got going on, especially wars recently. But there have always, we're in a time of increased struggles now, increased darkness from false gods, personal toil, and global upheavals is framed as the labor pains of birthing a new spiritual age. Just as physical childbirth involves intense travail before the joy of new life, the shift from old cycles, the shift from old cycles dominated by the beast nature. The shift from old cycles dominated by the beast nature. Exclusive religions, war and intermediaries, all that's on its way out now. The beast nature dominated spirit. People, the beast nature. We live in a world of people dominated by the beast nature. And I don't think I'm being mean or anything. I'm just saying, go out into the world, man. People's tolerance is skin deep. You know what I mean? It's skin deep, man. People only have a little bit of patience with inconvenience of any sort, man. Only a little bit of patience, man, before they will lash out at you, no matter what it is. Exclusive religion, war and intermediaries. That's all finished with. No more. That's done. Liberty, direct communion with Jehovah, global harmony, science, and good works is messy and painful. The woman in labor, Revelation, she is clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars, crying out in birth pangs. In OAHSPE, this mirrors Earth, or the collective humanity, faiths, in travail as it enters the higher light, cosmic arc, with the woman symbolizing the birthing of a new order amid opposition from the dragon, symbolic of darkness, false gods, or the beast. Meaning, you go and you try to present the light, man, and look at the opposition you're going to get. Believe me, I know. I And that proves that the creator of the OAHSPE is true. That is the truth, man. The dragon stood at the foot of the woman ready to devour her man child as soon as it was born. That is relevant for today. You go out there, man, trying to talk to somebody about the OAHSPE. Why don't you try it, and watch what will happen. You watch what will happen, man. I'm telling you from experience. The child, remember the child? She gave birth to a man child, the woman in Revelation 12. The child, remember? The child is the emerging cosmic race, the child. The emerging cosmic race. The emerging cosmic race souls, freer, wiser, less bound by ancient dogmas, raised for global harmony and good works rather than old religious structures. Remember the dragon? The dragon sent forth a flood out of his mouth, and the woman ran into the wilderness where she had a place prepared for her. The pain and dragon, the continual grind we discussed earlier. The four false gods, Luamon, Cabalactes, Inacrissa, etc., Thoth, and the beast nature, the pain and the dragon, the beast nature fight fiercely to maintain control, inciting wars, division, materialism, and suffering. Lita Bakatrava warns, the four dark corners of the lodge will bound upon thee. Remember we talked about that, the last study, the four dark corners? The four false gods will fight thee to the death. Yet Jehovah's kingdom ultimately triumphs. Since you brethren, you know that too in your soul. We look at the world, we see people under the beast, under the Georgian influences, anti-Jehovahans. We don't look down on them. But we see that they in the grip of the beast. That's what make you have compassion for them. You know what I'm saying? For real, man. That make you have compassion for them. Especially when they fight you. And it's like a child, fighting a parent who's trying to pull a bee sting out of the, you know what I mean? That's what we going through. That's what you face this on top of trying to keep ourselves, in good spirits and deal with our own self, our own spirit, and the attacks we come under. We have to also deal with the world and the people under the influence of the dragon, the beast kingdom. You see? The creator, he's really doing a work on us. You know what I mean? He is really doing a work on us, man. This mirrors the full arc of Revelation 12, the dragon's pursuit, the woman's flight into the wilderness, a period of protection and preparation, and the ultimate victory. That's our story, our summary. The faithist, the dragon's pursuit, man. The woman's flight into the wilderness, meaning a period of protection and preparation. That's where we are right now. And the ultimate victory. The ultimate victory. OAHSPE places us squarely in this birthing process. The pangs include rapid global changes and interconnection, open ports, travel, and internet. That's more historical. These things have already happened. The decline of old religious authorities and rise of personal spirituality. And there have been, the French Revolution, the American Revolution, the Haitian Revolution, to overthrow the rulership of the oppressor. The spirit of freedom, man. The Creator said this was going to what the spirit that's going to, and even worse now is what's going on now. When people start, when they start seeing more, I'm trying to describe when people start seeing shortages, they don't want to see nobody doing better, way, way better than them. You see the problem we got? When people are struggling, man, one thing I know the rich know, people who are well off, they know they better hide, man. You better hide. You better hide, man, because when you got people and they can't feed their children, you know what I mean? What I'm saying is that we are on course. You hate to even say it. Something's got to give. Birthing pains, man. Technological miracles mixed with social upheaval, inequality, and conflict. That's where we are today, man. These AI data centers, I remember there was this game, man. There was a game back when I was, when I was growing up, man. When I was in junior high school. In junior high school, there was a game called Tron. Y'all remember that? Tron. They made a movie out of it, Tron. Back then it was like $0.25 to play it for like 5 minutes, Tron. Where you were on this disc suspended in the air and the other dude was on the disc. And both of y'all was throwing these frisbees. They looked like frisbees at one another. And the goal was to not get hit and knock you off the disc. Was it Tron? Am I thinking? No, wait a minute. I'm thinking of a game where the computer. Do y'all remember that game where you put your quarter in and then it gives you a little summary. It says, man has created something greater than himself. And that being the case, the computer has decided that man is inferior and therefore must be eliminated, That reminds you of AI, man, They're building these things and it's swallowing up people's resources. Water, polluting the land, Man has created something greater than himself, and creation has now concluded that man is inferior and he must be eliminated, I mean, it make you think of AI, these AI centers they keep talking about, man, I'm sure there's some benefits, but in the meantime, it's swallowing up men, their resources, and causing them to, making people sick and, inequality, man. It's like the inventions and technology of today, it's without wisdom. It's technological advancement, but it's without wisdom. The Creator said that was going to happen. The technology was going to be without wisdom. Without wisdom, man. Meaning it was not going to be detrimental to people. Oh, man. Anyway, in a half hour, I'm going to close the video, and then I'm going to go into the chat. If you want me to drop the link, you want to comment on what I've said or anything like that, type a 1 in the chat, and I'll drop the link when I come into the chat, and we can have a discussion if you want to. I'm going to finish up this study here. I don't think I'm going to get to the Anubi degrees. I'm going to try it, though. A collective crying out for meaning, justice, and harmony, meaning the woman of Revelation 12, she's crying out. She's paying to be delivered, man. The pain is purposeful. It perfects souls through labor, service, and endurance. After the birth comes greater liberty, wisdom, and joy in the higher heavens, eventually on earth. All right. Now that's the woman of Revelation 12. The woman of Revelation 12 study. Now, real quick, let's go to the Anubi degrees. See if I can squeeze that in. The Anubi degrees. Y'all probably heard about that. The Anubi degrees. The Anubi degrees is something that's set aside for faithists. Did y'all know that? So let's bring that up. The Anubi degrees. I'm trying to bring it up right now, so just bear with me. The 5 degrees of Anubi. All right, the 5 degrees of Anubi. In OAHSPE, there was no fixed minimum time, such as X years, before someone could be admitted to the College of Prophecy. Admission depended on demonstrated proficiency rather than a set calendar. So all of us, this option will be open to us, faithists, the College of Prophecy. It says admission depended on demonstrated proficiency rather than a set calendar, meaning you don't go for like a certain amount of time. You learn at your own speed. The structure from the Book of Wars Against Jehovah, chapter 7. The College of Prophecy was the 5th and highest degree in the system established under Anubi, and later revived in forms like Samuel's College at Naoth in the Bible. Degrees 1 through 4 had to be fully mastered first, and these covered basic rites, spirit communion, and mysteries. Living in poverty and service, that was degree number 2. Knowledge of God, Lord's divine laws, and sacred practices, that was degree number 3. Knowledge of cosmology, of heavens, vortices, false gods, and practical arts, degree number 4. Only after proficiency in all 4 preceding degrees, plus a recommendation from the Rabbah, priest teacher, in charge of the college, could a person enter the 5th degree, the actual college degree of prophecy. The 5th degree taught advanced topics such as the secret of life in the flesh, power of the will, entering a prophetic state, forecasting, and working with vortexian, ethereal forces. Angels taught it directly in sarges, meaning materialized form. So that's interesting, the 5th degree. You hear people in the world say, he gave me the 5th degree or something like that. This is more likely where they got it from, the OAHSPE. Okay. In practice, the process was rigorous and progressive. It required years of disciplined study, moral living, including strict vegetarianism for higher degrees, and spiritual development. See, the Creator is telling you this is how he tests a man's heart so that he doesn't go off. Now, false gods go off, and the Creator even gives a reason why he allows that, so that we can learn. But that's the exception to the rule, I'm sure. False gods going off. The Creator, he says that his process of putting a man into service, so far as the Anubi degrees, the process is rigorous and progressive. It requires years of disciplined study, moral living, including strict vegetarianism for higher degrees, and spiritual development. In Samuel's College at Naoth, inspired individuals congregated there, and the group operated for periods such as 70 years of prophecy. but individual training time is not specified as a fixed term. The emphasis was always on readiness through purity, discipline, proven ability, not on serving a minimal number of years. In short, one can be admitted to the College of Prophecy only after completing the earlier degrees to the satisfaction of the creator or the teachers, which in practice took significant time and personal growth. But no universal waiting period is stated in OAHSPE. The focus was on inner readiness rather than chronological age or duration. Okay, the 5 degrees of the newbie. Part 2. In OAHSPE Book of Wars Against Jehovah, Chapter 7, the system of initiation established by a newbie, and later continued in colleges such as Samuel's at Nail, consisted of 5 progressive degrees. These were structured rites and teachings designed to elevate mortals spiritually. Preserve pure faithism, meaning you don't have people just going to college for a couple of years. They get out and make a whole bunch of money on it. You know, don't commercialize. You can't commercialize faithism. The Creator, He knows how to cut that part out of the human spirit by testing years of rigorous for the 5 degrees of a newbie. Because you know that this is priceless information, man. The Creator is telling you some heavy things. These were structured rites and teachings designed to elevate mortals spiritually, preserve pure faithism, transmit advanced knowledge secretly. Here is a clear explanation of each degree. The first degree of a newbie, open to anyone who desired to learn heavenly things. It was conducted in dark chambers with angels participating in materialized form. That's what the Masons do, from what I understand. They have their initiation rites and ceremonies. They do this type of stuff. The first degree, it taught the basic mysteries of spirit communication, sitting in circles and crescents, distinguishing grades of spirits, attracting righteous spirits, keeping away evil ones, developing clairvoyance, Lewis, and Sargent's materialization, and practical spirit phenomena like rappings and poundings. Second degree. The 5 degrees of a newbie focus on the Great Spirit, Jehovah, and his secret names. The second degree focused on the Great Spirit, Jehovah, and his secret names. Taught about his high holy heavens and rest and happiness. Required a year of extreme service, living with the poorest of the poor, begging alms, keeping only the poorest things for yourself, giving away one's own clothes to the naked. This applied equally to men and women. The third degree taught the dominions of God and the Lords, their locations, labors in heaven, and the divine laws. The third degree taught dominions of God and the Lords and their locations, labors in heaven, and the divinity laws. Included learning sacred names, salutations, anthems, prayers, praise, oratory, positions, marching orders, writing sacred names, and the secret of begetting pure offspring. Whoa, 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 whoa. It provided the key to understanding the first 2 degrees. Now you get to the 4th degree. This is faith, this learning right here. This is open degrees 2 through 5. That's for faithists. Their option to learn the newbie degrees. The first degree is open to everybody. The 4th degree covered advanced cosmology and heavenly order, arrangements of the heavens, sun, moon, stars, places and grades of unseen worlds, lower and higher heavens, locations of false lords and false gods, Hada, hells and knots, familiar spirits, fetals, and vampires, including those that induce flesh eating. Whoa, whoa. Practical knowledge. The position of the North Star, Earth's vortex, vortices of corporal worlds, and rules for building temples and pyramids with spirit chambers. That's the Great Pyramid, right? The Sphinx gave the key to the previous, to the fourth degree gives the key to the previous degrees. The fifth degree, the highest and most secret level. The highest, most secret level. It taught the secret. Look at that, the secret of life in the flesh. The power of will, how to use it near and far. How do you like that? Ruling others without their knowledge. Ruling others without their knowledge. Casting spells, entering the prophetic state. Estimating numbers, distances, weights without tools. Oh man, forecasting events, understanding mechanics, capstan, lever, screw, friction, and other advanced arts. Angels came in sarges, which is materialized bodies, and taught orally. Angels came in sarges. Strict requirement. One could only enter after full proficiency in all four preceding degrees, plus a recommendation from the Rabbah, priest teacher in charge of the college. Look at this. Only faithists could generally receive the higher degrees, except for the first, which kept the greatest knowledge secret among them. How do you like that, man? Overall purpose. These degrees form a rigorous spiritual and practical education system. They protected the pure worship of Jehovah, trained prophets, enabled great engineering works, temples, pyramids, canals, make you want to study how them things. They still don't understand how the Giza pyramid was built today. They don't understand it. And canals, and ensure the advanced heavenly knowledge remain with the faithless rather than kings or idolaters. The system emphasized discipline, self-denial, purity, direct connection to Jehovah and his angels. This structure was later revived in various forms in Samuel's College in the Bible to sustain prophecy amid growing darkness and religion. All right, so that's the study for the 5 degrees of a newbie. Don't have time for any of the other studies. I have to get to them later. Open to faithists. First degree open to anyone, where you can learn, sound like, I mean, wow, man, you could learn the things it said, ruling over people without their knowledge. That is really amazing stuff. Measuring without having to weigh things, estimating numbers and distances and weights without tools. I'm not surprised, man. Spiritual knowledge, spiritual power, this is our future. Okay, that's it for right now. Let me go to the chat. If anybody wants to, anything you want to share or whatever, just type a 1 in the chat. Let me go and greet you before I close the video. Yeah, the chat is getting bigger nowadays. All right, Tabitha. I'm trying to read as I go down too. Brother Elijah, of course. Brother Dwayne. It's good to see y'all, man. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Bishop, Heathen, Vegan. Hey, Heathen, Vegan. I don't know if he's still in the room. Man, I found a vegan restaurant in Tucson here. The chicken wings is better than even the meat wings I used to eat, if you can believe that. The way you wouldn't believe it, man. Plant food. It's plant food. It's called Midtown Vegan and Deli, man. It was the most unbelievable. It's the things they can do, man. Plant food, man, and it tastes even better than the real thing. All right, let's see. Let me greet you before I close out. This thing keeps playing with me. Won't let me just do my thing. All right. Keeps messing my screen up. Flips. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for joining me. I don't want to miss anybody, man. This thing keeps messing my screen up. Tabitha, thank you for coming. Flips. All right, we had Amherst up in here. Good to see you, sis. Thank you for coming, Amherst. Vinette Cooper, I never seen you before, but welcome. Thank you for coming. Mahalia, she likes to sew. Hey, Mahalia, I don't know if you're still in the room, but that image you got, your icon for your Facebook, I like that. I like that one. That's nice. And then Cherise, she got 7 children. Cherise. Well, you say, I love sewing. So in the kingdom, she's going to be sewing. All right, I think I got everybody. I think I covered everybody. Let me keep going here. Dion Cowie. Good to see you, brother. I don't know if you're still in the room, but I send you love and light and the spirit of truth. Brother Obi was in here, man. Doggone it. He said the downfall of Christianity is still a long way. Might not happen for another 50 years or more. Yeah, I hear you. I have to agree with you. You can see that it's on its way, though. You can see that people are turning away from it, questioning it more. The creator, he said in OAHSPE, he was going to raise up scholars to help tear it down. All right, so I think I got through everybody. Brother Omian, good to see you, man. Good to see you, brother. Elijah, anti-gravity. You keep criticizing me, but it's all right. I don't know if he's still in the room. The brother keeps sending me criticisms, but I know it's constructive, so it's cool. Anti-gravity, good to see you. Yeah, not vegetarianism, but veganism. Yeah, that's right. See, he keeps sending me criticism. I keep saying, may the creator bless you, man. Yeah, that's right. Veganism. I just read the words. I don't think about it sometimes. Yeah, that's right. Everybody's right. Yeah. Veganism, meaning plant food. Yeah. Nazarene blowing it up. Oh, wow, you're still in here. All right. Okay, brothers. Nobody wants to come on. Type of one. If you had anything you want to come on and share or anything. If not, I'm closing out. I wanted to thank you, brother, for joining me in the description area. If there's a brother or sister who needs charity, I got a link in there. You can contact me secretly. Nobody has to know anything, and we will certainly deal with it. We come into a situation in the world where, brethren, July, and even right now, really, I have to let you know that there are constant warnings going out because of the disruption in the Strait of Hormuz with the oil and gas being shut down. And we are reaching the end of our reserves in this country. About 90% or more of gas and oil byproducts is like 90%. We have to know these things, man. We need to somehow know so that maybe we can all be unified to send our prayers to the Creator, man, to give us wisdom and knowledge to what to do to go through this, because we're going to need it, man. We're looking at a world that's not ready, no spiritual foundation. And when you get close to when your foundation, man, if people, for most people, the foundation is the world. When the world starts dissolving in the sense that you cannot rely on it the way you used to, people are subject to do anything, man. Do you, brother, know? You know what I'm saying? People are subject to do. That's where we live. So the Creator he wants us to go through this. We need knowledge, man. So, all right, man, that's the best I can do, Go to the description area. It's got the link to the website for ministry for information and resources. Brethren, thank you for joining me. And Jehovah, thank you for my brethren. I ask that we be granted wisdom and knowledge so that we can redeem the time, even as we see the events on the horizon, that you will use us, and you will help us to be the best light that we can be, and to not be discouraged in any form or fashion. Also, for our health needs, our economic needs, and we ask a blessing to help us during this time. So, Jehovah, I just give thanks, my brethren, myself, opportunity you've given us, the light to share. Jehovah, please, thank you, and for this, for our guardian angels who help watch over us as well. So, thank you, Jehovah, in your name. We give thanks and praise. So let it be, brethren. Okay, thank you for joining me, and until I see you again, peace be unto you. Shalom.